Welcome back. I'm Steve McGrath from Victory Sports. In this episode, I'm pleased to bring you my conversation with Kalija Lipscomb. Now, Kalija spoke to me before the coronavirus outbreak has reached the levels that it has in the last few days. So while a couple things that were on his radar for the month of March have in all likelihood changed, he took the time to still talk about his combine experience, the Senior Bowl, and everything that went into his 4-year ride at Vanderbilt. Now, before Kalija tells his story, I need to remind you all that we are brought to you by Team Builder. And Team Builder works with over 500 high school football programs nationwide, as well as colleges in the NFL. So go to teambuilder.com, use the promo code VICTORY. You're going to get a free gift to learn a little bit more about what they do. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and follow Victory Sports on social media. Now, without any further ado, here's my conversation with Kalija. All right. I am joined by none other than Kalija Lipscomb. Kalija, how's it going today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great, and I'm sure that you are feeling pretty relieved now because you are post-combine. You got that big dog and pony show, as they say, over with. Now you can sort of just relax and take a deep breath. But I just had to ask, man, how was the whole experience?
It was great. It was great. I think, man, it was a dream come true. And it's something that, I don't take lightly. Just being in that group of guys, that 200 something group of guys, or whatever it is, and being able to say, I made it to that point that a lot of guys don't make it to is a big trophy in and of itself.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But did you feel, because you always hear the stories about teams asking these guys just crazy questions. How was it for you, just that mental part? Because, of course, everyone sees the physical drills, but mentally handling the pressure of interviewing with all these different teams and getting asked all these different questions.
Oh yeah, I mean they definitely try to wear you down. It's a process. It's not just like you said, all they show on TV is the workout. And the 2 or 3 hours or so you're out there running around with the football, but the whole week is really designed to test you in every way. And they ask questions, teams ask questions, and they try to get you to slip up and reveal something about yourself that you don't want to say. You know what I'm saying? And it's a process, and it can be grueling, but at the same time, I feel like if you take time between each meeting to really process the idea that where else would you rather be, it becomes a little easier.
Yeah, right. When you frame it that way, it certainly makes sense. But it's now today's technically March 10th. So with that over with, what is the next couple months look like? What are you going to be doing between now and the NFL draft?
Actually, I just landed back in Nashville today. We have our pro day at Vanderbilt on March 16th. I actually have this upcoming Sunday. I have two meetings I have a meeting with two different teams. Monday we have pro day, and then for the rest of the week following pro day, I have three workouts scheduled already. So really just get down to the meat of it. Draft prep and trying to get in front of as many teams and as many important decision makers as I can.
Got it. And by the way, completely forgot. Obviously, with Vanderbilt being in Nashville, did the tornado affect you or anyone close to you at all?
No, happily and luckily it didn't. I have some very close friends and ex teammates here. Um, but everybody seems to be good, and in fact, a lot of guys are actually helping the relief efforts as far as giving food out, bringing water around, chopping trees, whatever it may be.
That's awesome. So we're talking about right now, but I just wanted to or rewind rather a couple months back. For you to get to the combine, you went to the Senior Bowl first.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously, you have the credentials as an SEC receiver. Everything you did, it's not like you had to prove anything to anyone. But going into the Senior Bowl, I think you had said that you wanted to show that you're a complete and crisp route runner. Being able to compete up against just the best seniors in the country. Did you feel like you were able to do that? Did you gain a whole lot of out of that experience? What were your whole thoughts on it all?
I think it was definitely a good experience. Just getting in front of, like I said, just having that an extra opportunity as a senior to get in front of the teams and scouts, and then work with some NFL personnel as far as how they do it and learning kind of on a small scale what goes into an NFL week. But as far as install and stuff goes, but and you try to take advantage of your opportunities as far as opportunities you get in team periods and one-on-one opportunities, but those opportunities are also few and far between. So it's like for a guy like myself who I played both inside and outside in college, but probably focusing more on the slot, there weren't many opportunities to really get in there and run slot routes. There's not, what I'm saying? Like, the timing is not always advantageous to the players as far as rep numbers and opportunities to really show what you can do with different routes. But I feel like in RVAs, especially after the first day, RVAs went well, drills went well. I had a few nice plays that I can look back on and say, that's more in tune with my game and how I play.
Yeah, definitely. No, everyone has been talking. All the quote unquote experts have been talking about how deep this class is at wide receiver. Going through this whole process, do you feel any additional pressure that you have to do something to stand out? Because allegedly there's all these guys that have all this talent, and it's not as clear cut as some of the other positional groups.
I mean, I feel like that's a good thing. Well, it could be considered a good thing or a bad thing. For guys, I think it's a good thing in the idea that, there's a lot of talent. So, teams are going to be looking for receivers. It's not hard to find a receiver in this class. You know what I'm saying? That a team wants. But for me, I think, I think I have if a team or anyone looks at my film, especially over the entire duration of my career, or even if they want to look at, my junior year alone and have it stand alone, I think it's definitely it's definitely productive. It's definitely, I did everything especially during my junior year, everything that you could do as a receiver on the football field.
Oh yeah.
Even running the ball. So it's like I ran every route. I played inside and outside. I caught back shoulder fades. Ran with the ball in my hand and created plays after the catch. It's like there's not much that I think my thing is that versatility, and there's not much that I haven't done in college as far as what a receiver that you would want can show you.
Yeah. No, of course. I think that the tape definitely shows that. What I want, we spend so much time just talking about what your life has been like in the last few months. I did want to just ask you if we could walk it back a couple years, because before you got here, right? I mean, like everyone else, you were in high school.
Right.
From what I could see, it's Jesuit high school. You're born in New Orleans, 3-star recruit. What were you? At what point were you taking football seriously to be, your avenue to get into college? Was it something you always wanted to do? What was that time like going back to 16, 17 years old?
So for me, it was always like, I played football growing up, but, coming from New Orleans, there being so many people that play football and so many people that think they're going to make it, it's kind of like, when you tell somebody you want to play in the NFL, it's like they kind of laugh at you, as a kid. I'm saying? It's like, no, you're not. What are the chances, So for me, it was like something I always had in the back of my head, but it was always like I didn't tell people. I don't want to get laughed at, I guess. I didn't really tell people. But football wise, I played varsity for the first year and my sophomore year at Jesuit. And then, like I said, I was just playing. Of course, I thought I was good. I thought I had the skills to play and do things and go on to play college and whatever. But I was just playing. There wasn't really much direction with it. I didn't really pick up in it until I went to a rivals camp going into my junior year. And it's not like, if you look at it, I went to the camp, I have the picture and everything, but I went there and sat in the back and watched everybody else. I sat in the back and watched that. Like Stanley Morgan was there, playing for Nebraska. Somebody, Christian Fulton was there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Guys are out there competing. I'm standing in the back. And the reason I did that, one, I was a little shy. I wasn't a guy that's just going to jump at the front of the line and say, let me get my reps. But also, I was really just watching. I was watching how different guys played and how different, you know, the aggressiveness and the confidence that some people play with. And, like, I think that speaks to how I am as a football player, like very cerebral, very like everything's very thought through. And I just watched, and when I went back, at that time my high school we weren't very good at football. I think we went 5-7 the year before. And I went back and I had the blue and orange Under Armour gloves that nobody else on the team had. And from that point forward, like I said in my head, like I was the best player on the team. And I was the best, like I was gonna try to be the best player in Metro New Orleans. And then I was gonna try to be the best receiver in the state and that type of thing. So that's kind of step by step is kind of how it progressed for me.
So going to that camp, you kind of turned a corner.
Going to that camp was crazy. I didn't want to go to the camp. My dad made me go. So I turned the corner in that camp. I remember going back to practice with those blue and orange gloves, and like the first practice, I guess was that fall camp practice. I was making catches that like I had never made in my life. Like one hand snap. Like I was always elusive with the ball in my hands because I played flag football growing up. But like I started like doing like one hand snags, make it like it was easy. Like I started just in it. I don't know where it came to this day. I don't know where it came from, but I think in my mind something clicked, and here I am.
That's crazy. And I mean, you go on to go 2-time All-State player. So I mean, you kind of that moment, those dreams that you had, even if they were quietly kept to you, you went out and you did it on the field. Enough so
Right.
where of course you're able to go to Vandy, but. How many teams were looking at you? Was LSU ever in the mix? I mean, how ultimately
Nope.
did you to
No.
road to Vandy?
So LSU never offered me. Actually, I got every school in the state of Louisiana outside of LSU. But leaving the state for college was my biggest thing. Like I refused to go to college in the state of Louisiana. So even if they had offered me, it was like before my senior year, I was like, man, I'm not staying here. I just had to get away. But I guess it finally came down to Northwestern, Vandy, and I was considering Nebraska a little bit, but yeah, it came down to those three. My first offer was Tulane. My first SEC offer was from Arkansas, but that's kind of how it went.
And I mean, Vandy isn't an easy school. So I mean, nothing against any other school, because not that Northwestern's easy or anything, but I mean, academically, it's a challenging program. How hard was it for you to balance school in trying to become a NFL caliber player?
I mean that's what Vandy is. I think people always everybody knows that Vandy's not an easy school. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of what Vandy is.
Yeah, you know what you're signing up for.
Yeah. So like when you go there, and I think I was telling my guys today, when we went to eat, that like when you make it to the point of like Senior Bowl of combine or whatever. I don't trust these bitches, they will never get. I don't trust these. There we go. But when you make it to that point, it's like people respect it a little bit. People respect it a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? If you can make it as a football player, if you can make it in football,
right?
It's like, wow, you did it, and you did it going to Vandy. So people know it was a little harder to make it to that point. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it's very different than nothing against pick a random SEC school or any other division conference for that matter. And yeah, I mean people that understand college and what it takes, academics, Vandy's definitely at the very top of the SEC.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's been I don't regret I don't regret deciding to go into Vandy at all. I think it was the best place for me. Coming here taught me a lot about life, taught me a lot about myself, and I'm happy where I am now, so I can't regret it.
Yeah. And I just want to jump into the last 2 years at Vandy, because You do get time as a freshman. You have a couple catches. You see time at punt return. Sophomore, you play even more, but then your junior year, you just explode. You're the number one receiver in the SEC. Nearly 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns. Fourth most catches in school history in a single season. What clicked that year? Was it just playing time, or was there something you had done for those 2 previous years to build up to that? Can you put your finger on anything?
I think honestly, I think it was a build up. It was a build up every year of me playing, and then also by playing more and more confident in myself. It was a build up, and then also that off season, like I kind of knew I had spent 2 years at different levels of it. I guess at one tier, climbing the tier. So it was like that next year, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I had a good idea about what it would take to get there. So the work looked a little like the off-season work looked a little different. And like honestly, I got better as a football player. Like I think I just I grew in my skills, my knowledge of the game grew, and my junior year I went from a freshman who started the first 6 games of the season to one of the top receivers in the SEC. So
Yeah. And I just want to briefly hit on your senior year because you made the what I'm guessing was a tough choice to come back to Vandy for your senior year. And I know that you did that with Keyshawn and Jared, and I know that you guys had big expectations, but I'm sure this year didn't live up to what you had hoped in terms of on the field success for the team. What was that like for you? Because the offense just overall took a step back, and I'm sure that had to have been at times frustrating. What are just your general thoughts about how the senior year went?
I mean, overall, it was frustrating, definitely frustrating at some points because, like you said, we had so many aspirations. We had big aspirations coming into the year. Not only myself, but the rest of the team and the other, the other players that came back, Jared and Sean. They were very excited about the prospect of what we're going to do individually and as a team. But it just didn't go that way. But my decision coming back was like it wasn't as difficult as you may think. I think I made a promise to my mom and my dad that if my draft grade came back below a certain point, that I was going to go back, and also I thought I had unfinished business. So overall, like I said, man, I don't really regret anything because I'm here, and where else would I rather be? But it's definitely all a learning process.
Yeah, for sure. As we get closer to wrapping up here, you've played, pro style RPO. You played in the spread. And of course, you've even returned kicks, something that maybe punt returns on the table for you in the future. Where do you feel most comfortable on the field?
I think that's a question that I got asked a lot, which I think is a good thing because it hints at my versatility as a player. But in the NFL, I think slot. I think I fit well in the slot. Size, speed, all that type of stuff, but also skill set. And what I can do on the football field, I think it fits well in the slot. And who am I kidding? I'd rather get guarded by linebackers and safeties and cornerbacks.
Yeah, right.
So, but punt return and all that type of stuff I hope is still on the table because it's something that I not only I think I'm capable of doing, but that I enjoy. Like I said, it kind of hits back at my days in flag football. Just making people miss and that type of thing.
For sure. All right. Well, I know that you're waiting on your guy to get let into your room, so I'm just going to wrap this up with the gauntlet. Got a couple quick hitter questions for you, Kalija. What's most important, number one offense or number one defense?
Number one defense.
All right. Now, do you have a pregame ritual that you stick to?
I do not.
All right. Favorite football memory thus far?
Beating Tennessee my junior year.
Now, who did you model your game after most?
The one person out. That's a hard one for me. That's a very hard one. Probably Jarvis Landry.
All right. Now, what's more important, the players or the scheme?
Players.
You're in Nashville. Where's your favorite hot chicken spot?
Hattie B's.
And most important, What's the best piece of advice that you give to a young athlete, considering everything you've done? You're one of the all-time greatest receivers at Vanderbilt. What's the best piece of advice?
Um, Something that I believe in and I think continues to push me is just the idea of, you know, being yourself and believing in yourself. And it's my belief that if you do those two things, everything will eventually go your way.
There it is. Kalija, thank you so much for taking the time, man. I'm sure there's only big things coming your way very soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.